Morning, everyone, and thank you all for being here. Joining me today are First Assistant Attorney General Lindsay Rotolo, Director of the Division of Criminal Justice Teresa Hilton, along with Chief of the Division of Criminal Justice Weldon Powell and Deputy Chief Larry Williams, Director of Public Safety from the City of Newark, Manny Miranda, and Chief Sharonda Morris from Newark, Chief Giacomo Sacca from Elizabeth, and I want to give thanks to Director Earl Graves, who couldn't be here today, as well as many investigators and prosecutors responsible for this case that we are about to announce. I also want to thank Detective Sergeant First Class Thomas Van Tassel from New Jersey State Police for being here. It does take a village to bring a case like this, which I'll talk more about. First, I want to thank all of the folks behind me and all of the law enforcement officers that worked on this case and who work on cases throughout the state every single day to make this state safer for the 9.5 million people who call it home. And today we're here to announce that following an extensive and expansive multi-year investigation, 26 people have been arrested and charged for their participation in a drug distribution enterprise that used violence to deter competitors and left a Newark neighborhood living in fear. Under the direction of the alleged ringleader, 43-year-old Rabia Sori, members of the so-called Double I Queen Street Blood Gang sold and distributed heroin, fentanyl, and cocaine, and acted as enforcers using violence and intimidation to expand their operation, increase their influence, and bring in more illicit revenue. At the heart of this enterprise was a heroin production facility located in the Elizabeth home that Sori and the alleged Double I associate Nicole Jones shared. After, again, an extensive investigation, on March 24th, detectives from the Division of Criminal Justice and the Newark Police Intelligence Unit executed a court-authorized search warrant at their home. Sori and Jones were both arrested on the spot, and inside the home, detectives found 91 grams of raw heroin stamps bearing the names Exit 5, Route 21, Body Bag, and Passion, which were consistent with the stamps linked to Sori's enterprise. And they also found $17,000 in cash. Detectives inside the home also found tools of the drug trade, empty glassine wax folds, tape, rubber bands, and digital scales, all items used to package and sell heroin. Sori is charged with multiple crimes, including racketeering, conspiracy, weapons offenses, assault, and drug offenses connected to drug operation. Other members of the gang face similar charges. Investigators have linked Sori and her fellow gang members to numerous acts of violence, ranging from a road rage incident which left one person injured with a gunshot wound, to another case in which a woman, another member of the gang, suffered a gunshot wound to the left side of her face because she reportedly owed Sori money from drug sales. Double I members operated without fear of accountability, even posting videos to social media in which Sori talked about a beef she had with a rival. These videos showed Sori and others at an apartment complex where a rival reportedly lived. Sori told listeners that she knew where her rival lived and was coming to get him. Last summer, near North 12th Street in Newark, we saw another example of the brutality of Sori and her Double I associates. Surveillance footage captured a man falling to the ground as people ran away. The man, believed to be an associate of the individual in the video that I just discussed, was seen crawling down a driveway, appearing to be injured before eventually running away with blood pouring down his arm. The victim did survive the assault despite being shot 3 times. For these alleged actions, Sori and co-defendants Dozier, Johnson, Hobbs, and Henderson, and we have the full list up here, were charged with second-degree aggravated assault, second-degree conspiracy to commit aggravated assault, second-degree possession of a weapon for unlawful purpose, and second-degree unlawful possession of a weapon. These are just a few of the alleged offenses we lay out in court filings and that our prosecutors will continue to prove as we seek justice for the victims in this case, those who were physically harmed, those who may have fallen deeper into addiction, those who may have been lost to substance abuse disorder. We also will seek justice for their families, their loved ones, and importantly for the residents of Newark and the residents of this state who were put in danger by this illegal operation. The Division of Criminal Justice Director Hilton will share additional details about Sori and her gang in a moment, but I want anyone listening or watching today to take away a very simple message. If you engage in gun violence, if you enable others to engage in gun violence, if you sell heroin or other dangerous drugs in the state of New Jersey, anywhere, there is no safe place to hide. We will find you, we will catch you, we will hold you accountable to the maximum extent under the law. In this case, multiple charges of first-degree racketeering conspiracy. Protecting the people of this state is my top priority. It's central to my role as our state's chief law enforcement officer. Violent crimes, particularly gun violence and drug trafficking, are serious threats to the safety of our residents. And the Division of Criminal Justice and our partner agencies across the state, many of whom are represented here, are committed to pursuing individuals engaged in these acts and putting them behind bars. In the last several years, we've seen gun violence drop to historically low levels. 2 years running, the lowest number of shootings on record since we've been tracking the statistics. We saw opioid deaths last year decline by 30%. We've seen burglaries and auto thefts decline. That is the result of the hard work of our law enforcement community. Law enforcement community partnerships like the ones that you're seeing today. These cases do not happen by accident. They happen based on dedicated work by career law enforcement officers throughout our state who put the public safety, in many cases, ahead of our own. And we've seen that time and again, and it's no greater example of it than the folks standing behind me. The Newark Intelligence Unit obviously has lived that this year. They lost one of their own, Detective Joseph Escona, and I want to, again, extend my most heartfelt condolences to the entire Newark police family. Even after that tragedy, that unit and the women and men of the Newark Police Department, under the direction of Chief Morris and Director Miranda, continued to put the public safety first. This work continued after that shooting. And as a result, 26 dangerous individuals have been apprehended and will be brought to justice. And so when we talk about why shooting numbers are down, why drug overdoses are down, it's because of the work of the men and women behind me and the prosecutors in our office and in agencies throughout this state who are holding people accountable when they terrorize our communities, when they hurt our residents. And we are not going to stop until those numbers get to zero. So I want to thank, again, the Newark Police Department under the leadership of Director Miranda and Chief Morris. I want to thank as well Lieutenant Sean Powell and Captain Patricia Rodriguez Alfieri. I want to thank the many members of the Elizabeth Police Department under the leadership of Chief Sacca and Director Graves, who assisted the Division of Criminal Justice takedown operation. And I want to honor the law enforcement efforts throughout our state that is absolutely working in keeping our state safer. I also want to thank our Division of Criminal Justice, the many members of our Division of Criminal Justice who worked on this case, including especially Chief Powell, Deputy Chief Williams, Bureau Chief Cassandra Montalto, Deputy Attorney General Ben Forrest, and Sergeant Scott Capone. And I also want to thank our state police and, in absentia, Colonel Callahan and the rest of the state police leadership for their work and assistance in investigating this case. It is now my honor to turn the podium over to the Director of the Division of Criminal Justice, someone, by the way, you've seen quite a bit of recently, given all of the important cases. You know, this case is a 26 defendant case. Last week, we had a more than 20 defendant case in a mob takedown, one of the largest mob takedowns. 39, excuse me. Thank you. You know, that's why she's here. She keeps me on check. 39 defendant mob takedown, one of the largest in recent history. Not too long ago, we were together talking about 500,000 doses of opioids and fentanyl being taken off the street, and yet another 22 defendants. What you're seeing is that we're not just going after low-hanging fruit. We're going after the most serious offenders. We're building cases that take down the entire operation, and that is why the numbers are dropping the way they are. So I'll turn it over to Director Hilton.
Thank you, General. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. Today marks a significant step forward in our continuing efforts to dismantle violent criminal organizations operating in our state. As you heard from Attorney General Platkin, we are here today to announce the takedown of what is alleged to be a dangerous and highly organized criminal enterprise known as the Double I Queen Street Blood Gang. This enterprise is accused of brazenly operating in Newark, openly selling drugs, and routinely using violence as a tactic of its illicit business model. Following a long-term, multi-agency investigation led by the Division of Criminal Justice in partnership with the Newark Police Department's Intelligence Unit, as well as other law enforcement agencies like Elizabeth Police Department and the New Jersey State Police, 26 individuals have been charged with serious crimes. I counted the total before we got into the room. There are 187 total charges related to these defendants. This was an enormous undertaking by law enforcement. They employed numerous methods to complete this investigation, including wiretaps, electronic surveillance, physical surveillance, undercover buys, search warrants, phone and financial records analysis. The list goes on. The numerous crimes alleged in these complaints are not street-level disconnected events. They're organized violence. This gang allegedly operated with a hierarchical structure with clearly defined roles, codes of conduct, and a willingness to use deadly force to protect their territory, settle scores, and fuel their narcotics business. At the top of this organization was Rabia Sori, who is alleged to have issued orders, directed retaliatory shootings, and managed the flow of guns and drugs into New Jersey communities. The gang allegedly had supervisors who would work 3 daily shifts on the drug set, morning, afternoon, and night. Robert Walton, Lateef Holly, and Eugene Sparrow, listed on the chart, are alleged to have been these supervisors. The first shift was responsible for picking up the drugs from Rabia's house in Elizabeth and bringing them to the set for the shift's distributors to sell. The gang also allegedly had advisors who were responsible for communicating with other low-level members for Rabia. For example, if a lower-level member owed her money, her advisors would contact them to pay. These advisors included Amani Faines, Al-Qaeda Ports, Nicole Jones, and Hadaya Sori. A number of the defendants charged are alleged to be distributors or runners, and they are, as I mentioned before, also annotated on the chart. These were the individuals working on the set to sell drugs to customers. It is alleged that they would also commit acts of violence on command. Lastly, the gang is alleged to have had enforcers or shooters, individuals who would either move guns at Rabia's direction or were involved in a shooting. These individuals included Jaquan Dozier, Anari Hobbs, Jasmine Henderson, Jonathan Harris, Amir Reynolds, and Eugene Sparrow, all of whom have been charged with aggravated assault or weapons charges. Through this structure, the enterprise is accused of creating a self-sustained ecosystem of violence and fear, with a reach that extended across Newark, East Orange, and other nearby communities. Violence wasn't incidental, it was strategic. Those who owed drug debts were pressured to commit crimes to pay them off. Guns were stored off-site in rental storage units to evade detection, including one situation where an assault firearm was recovered from a U-Haul facility directly tied to the enterprise. 22 of the 26 defendants face first-degree racketeering for their role in this highly structured criminal drug enterprise. If convicted of a first-degree offense, they face 10 to 20 years in prison. The alleged leader of this gang, Rabia Sori, also faces the first-degree charge of leader of an organized crime and leader of a narcotics trafficking network, for which she faces life imprisonment as a possible sentence. Other crimes faced by these individuals include aggravated assault, numerous weapons charges, promoting organized street crime, money laundering, and other violent and narcotics-related crimes. I also want to take a moment to thank and commend the dedicated law enforcement professionals who made this operation possible. I especially want to thank our team in the Division of Criminal Justice, the Newark Police Intelligence Unit, the Elizabeth Police Department, and the New Jersey State Police. DCJ's mission is to protect our communities, to investigate and prosecute the networks of people who cause our communities harm, to work to give residents back the safety and stability they deserve. With today's takedown, we've taken a step in that direction. We don't do this alone. We do it with a strong law enforcement partnerships, just like we see in this case. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. It is now my privilege to turn the podium over to Chief of the Division of Criminal Justice, Weldon Powell.
Thank you, General. And thank you, Director. Good morning, everyone. Today we stand not just to mark the conclusion of a major investigation, but to recognize the unwavering commitment, professionalism, courage of our detectives and law enforcement partners who made this takedown possible. Beginning in October of 2023, our Division of Criminal Justice detectives, in collaboration with the Newark Police Intelligence Unit, launched an ambitious investigation into a dangerous street crime gang known as Double I Queen Street Bloods. This was no small undertaking. The individuals involved in this enterprise were responsible for round-the-clock drug trafficking and repeated acts of violence involving firearms, which endangered lives and destabilized the community. Thanks to the meticulous work and persistence of our detectives, key individuals in this group, including the leader, have been taken off the street. The investigative team followed the case across months of surveillance, wiretaps, and undercover work. Your actions were methodical, precise, courageous, and selfless. Let me be clear, the streets of Newark and beyond are safer because of your work. I want to personally thank every detective and officer who played a role in this operation. Division of Criminal Justice Detectives, Newark, East Orange Police Department, and Edison Police Department as well. I would also like to thank our law enforcement partners across the board. This was teamwork at its finest. You embody the values we stand for: integrity, service, relentless drive to protect and serve. You have my deepest respect and gratitude. Congratulations on a job well done. General.
Thank you, Chief. I'm going to turn it over to Director Miranda in just a moment. Before I do, I want to just say a word about the city of Newark, because there have been some comments about it lately about a state of safety, which are just not true. Newark has never been safer, period. And that's a result of the work that we're talking about today and the work of the men and women who work in the Newark Police Department. The stats show it. And if you want to know why that's the case, it's because, again, of the dedicated, selfless public servants who have put the safety of the residents of this great city, the city that we are standing in right now, first. So for anybody who may watch this and think, oh, the streets of Newark are awash in crime, because of these brave men and women, they are not. And you should come. You should come here. You should enjoy this city. You should get some of the great food, some of the best food you'll find anywhere. See some of the great culture that we have here. Meet some of the best and, frankly, funniest people you'll ever meet, and one of the richest and warmest cultures I've ever experienced. And I want to thank the Newark Police Department for making this city as safe as it is today. And while we're talking about a very serious takedown of a very serious gang and criminal enterprise, I don't want it to be lost that the reason why there are hundreds of thousands of people who enjoy a safer place to live and why millions of people who enjoy a safer place to come visit is because of the work that we are doing, not just today, but 365 days a year. Director, I'll turn it back over to you.
Good morning. Thank you, General. On behalf of the Mayor, Raj J. Baraka, the Chief of Police, Sharonda Morris, we extend our sincere gratitude to General Platkin and the Division of Criminal Justice for their partnership with the Newark Police Division. It is times like this when you recognize that New Jersey has an exceptional Attorney General who is laser beam focused on removing gang violence and drugs from our streets. Newark is the largest city in the state, and some people see it as a gravy train for the criminal activities. In this case, it was an entire criminal enterprise led by someone looking to make fast money at the expense of Newark residents. Thanks to the hard work of our major crimes detectives, led by Captain Patricia Rodriguez-Alfieri and the Division of the Criminal Justice, the plans of these suspects were cut short. The Newark Police Division has some of the most talented, committed police officers, detectives, and supervisors in the world. And because of our effective partnership and collaboration with General Platkin, who works night and day to keep New Jersey safe, 26 violent crime suspects are no longer wreaking havoc or terrorizing our neighborhoods. Instead, they are facing some serious criminal charges. And I hope this sends a clear message that Newark is not a playground for gang leaders or their workers. Thank you again, General Platkin, for advancing this great partnership and collaboration with the Newark Police Division. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. I'm happy to take a few questions.
Is there any connection between this takedown, this operation, and the fatal shooting of Lieutenant High School Minister the leader's son?
So it is not the leader's son. We cannot rule out a family relationship, but in terms of criminal activity, they have no evidence of any connection at this time. Any other?
Have all of these defendants appeared in court yet?
I'll let Director handle.
Not all of them have appeared in court yet. A few of them, 6, have not been arrested yet. Several of them are pending their detention hearing, including the leader, Rabbi Asori, who we anticipate being scheduled this week.
Are any going to be in court today?
It's possible. I mean, they do it fast. It's within 48 hours that you have a first appearance. So I can get a list and we can get that out to you.
And in terms of, I just wanted to be clear, where they were keeping the drugs, was that at home in Elizabeth?
CDS was found in several locations, but a large stash of it was found in the home in Elizabeth, yes.
Which is why we have multiple agencies represented here. And again, I want to thank the Elizabeth PD as well for their work. Any other questions? I want to thank you all for coming, and I want to thank again the women and men of the Newark Police Department, the Elizabeth Police Department, the Division of Criminal Justice, the state police, and all law enforcement for working tirelessly to keep this state safe. Thank you all.